13 News at 5 does begin on this Wednesday night with some breaking news.
3 people are hurt after a shooting on the east side of Indy. All of this happening within the last hour near Community Hospital East.
That's right. Out on the east side, Logan Gay is there live tonight on the scene with the latest of what she's been able to learn there. Logan.
Hey, Ann, that's right. 3 people were injured in this shooting. What we know is that 2 of them are in critical condition and 1 of them is stable. I want to give you a live look at what the scene looks like right now. You can see that there are several officers here on the street and that the street is blocked off by crime scene tape. And if you zoom in, you can see that much of their investigation seems to be centered on that house on the corner where that officer is standing in front of the garage. You can also see that there's a man sitting on the front lawn in a chair. We're still working to learn more about what happened here. You can see that right now officers are also talking with neighbors, gathering information, trying to find out what they may have seen or heard. We are hoping to get an update here soon. Once we do get that update, we will have that information as soon as possible. But again, there are 3 people that were injured in this shooting. 2 of them are in critical condition. 1 of them is stable. We're hoping to learn soon about what led up to this shooting and an update on the condition of these victims. Ann?
All right, Logan Gay reporting for us live on the east side. We'll check back as you get more information. Thank you so much. Other news now tonight. A man who pled guilty in the deaths of 2 brothers now knows his sentence.
Martise McGee will spend the next 22 years in prison for the deaths of Jaquarius Mitchell and Jimmy Thomas. Nearly 2 years ago, this incident happened. Our Marina Silva takes us into the courtroom as McGee learned his fate.
An emotional day as dozens of people packed this courtroom to hear Martise McGee receive his sentence. He'll now spend the next 2 decades in prison.
All 3 of the people involved came with what the law would kind of quaintly refer to as unclean hands.
Judge Osborne handed down his sentence to Martise McGee to a courtroom filled with mainly supporters of McGee. As many couldn't help but cry, Celestine Ray could only focus on the fact that her sons are gone.
Because I don't see too much justice that my sons got, and they ain't never coming back. So I had to accept whatever the judge gave me today. So that's a hard pill, but I have to eat it up.
In April 2023, her sons were shot at a Shell gas station at 32nd and Emerson. This video played during court. You see the moments leading up to and when the shooting happened. Martise McGee admits to being the shooter. McGee was just 20 years old at the time.
I want to start off by saying I'm sincerely sorry to the families of Jaquarius and Jimmy. I know I caused y'all a lot of heartache with this situation. I want y'all to know that I apologize and I never wanted none of this to happen.
But Ray doesn't believe him.
He only sorry because he's doing time sitting in that seat. That's the only thing he can tell me he's sorry for. Sorry, he ain't gonna bring my sons back.
McGee's attorney, Brad Banks, calls the nature of this case challenging in a statement saying, "My client, Martise McGee, was put in an incredibly difficult position. A day he went to a gas station just to buy soda turned into a nightmare." Chief Trial Deputy Dan Cicchini agrees with the sentence.
Court, as to be expected, decades in prison is an appropriate sentence. This is the unfortunate and unfortunately foreseeable consequence of 3 people who shouldn't have guns having guns and turning a simple trip into the gas station into a shootout.
And says in order for this to not happen again, less guns.
We have way too many guns on the streets, way too many people with access to guns on the streets, and way too many people who shouldn't have guns having guns.
The mother to the victims says she'll never stop fighting for her sons. Reporting in Marion County, Marina Silva, 13 News.
Tonight, we're learning that no one is facing murder charges after a deadly shooting on the west side in Brownsburg. Police now tell us that 4 people between the ages of 20 and 22 are facing various charges. They range from theft to attempted theft to unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon and also to false informing. You might remember this incident happened at the beginning of March. 2 men from Indianapolis, 19-year-old Lucas Brearley and 25-year-old Zachariah Johnson, died in that shooting. Investigators say the 2 got into a fight after trying to steal from cars. Officers say Brearley then shot and killed Johnson in the SUV as they were leaving Brownsburg, and the person who was driving the SUV, Logan Huffine, then shot and killed Brearley. The Hendricks County prosecutor determined that Huffine was defending himself and Johnson when he fired at Brearley.
Tonight, 25 people are under arrest after drug busts across Johnson and Marion counties, and now they are looking for 20 more suspects accused of selling the drugs. The Johnson County Sheriff tells us the bust, which started early this morning and were still going on just before noon, involved meth, fentanyl, and other drugs. The sheriff tells us the arrests are the culmination of long-time work between their office as well as Greenwood and Franklin Police and SWAT.
Lawmakers now are getting an update on the future for the economy here across the state of Indiana, and unfortunately, the news is not good.
Well, compared to estimates in December, Indiana is on course for slower economic growth, higher unemployment, and higher inflation over the next 2 years.
That means problems for the Indiana state budget because revenues as a result of this are expected to be down about $1 billion each of the next 2 years.
Forecasters blame tariffs and high interest rates for much of the slowdown, which they called a near recession. Tonight, the Indiana National Guard is ending its mission at the southern border.
Yeah, you might remember they departed. We had video of that ceremony at the end of September. There were 50 Guard members who took off for Texas, and while they were there, they supported the Texas National Guard.
Governor Mike Braun says their mission was successful. They will return to Indiana within 60 days. And it's been a beautiful Wednesday with loads of sunshine.
That's right. We got to the 60s for some areas. I don't know if we got there in the heart of downtown. Angela's got answers about that and also about some of the changes that are headed our way for the holiday weekend. Angela?
Yes. Let's start with the good news.
All right.
We're running, as expected, 5 to 10 degrees warmer from this time yesterday. That puts us in the upper 50s and low 60s right now. That 24-hour temperature change on the positive side, we're up 10 in Bloomington, up 9 in Bedford, and 7 degrees warmer in Columbus and Shelbyville. We're up 5 in Indianapolis. Nice to have lots of sunshine today. A few high clouds beginning to stream in at this point. We're at 59 in Noblesville, 59 Greensburg, 63 Brown County, and 55 with a few of those high clouds in Bunker Hill. Those will continue to build over the next several hours, not responsible for any rain. Temperatures stay mild in the upper 50s and low 60s, and with a few of those clouds not nearly as cold overnight. We were in the 30s this morning. We'll be in the 40s to start our Thursday. Throw the umbrella in. There will be a few hours of showers tomorrow afternoon. The timeline with Future Track 13 shows the leading edge of the shower activity into the southwestern part of the state at noon. This is lunchtime tomorrow, and then moving across the central part of the state between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Not expecting anything heavy. Unfortunately, that changes as we look ahead to the weekend. That look ahead in a few minutes.
All right, Angela, thanks so much. We'll check back. And now we want to show you this view from above. This is flooded farmland along the East Fork of the White River in southern Bartholomew County. These are images that we took from Drone Cam 13 earlier this month. And if you check out that area tonight, you can see that the water has now receded.
And today, Rich and I joined an IU research team as they measured how much farmland washed away.
IU Earth scientist Doug Edmonds and his students collected the sensors they put in this field just before the flooding. The sensors measure water depth and velocity. Meantime, a drone uses LiDAR, light detection and ranging, to measure the topography of the ground below and how it changed since the flood.
We actually want to quantify how much soil has eroded from these locations and to see if we can understand why, with the eventual goal of trying to better conserve the topsoil, which is an important economic resource in the state of Indiana.
This is the farmland now. This is what it looked like at the height of the second biggest flood ever recorded in this area, along the East Fork of the White River. All this gravel washed off the road into the field, and further behind me you can still see what's left of the flood river that flowed through this field. The water still standing here fills channels where erosion is changing the landscape. In Jonesville, Rich Knight, 13 News.
Thank you, Rich. That IU researcher says that in about 20% of this floodplain area in Jonesville, about a foot of topsoil has been lost in the past decade.
A neighborhood on the Near East Side of Indy is about to get a new fire station.
That's right. City leaders came together and they joined with the Indianapolis Fire Department to break ground today on the location for the new Station 20. Now, the new station is located near East 13th and Emerson, and it's going to replace the current station, which was built back in 1952. The renderings show what that new two-story station will look like when it's completed.
And it's expected to cost $8 million, and they're hoping to open it as early as the middle of July next year.
Happening now, first responders in Avon now are facing off, and they're doing so for a very good cause.
It's police officers against firefighters for the Battle of the Badges blood drive. The Red Cross is encouraging people to head to Harmony of Avon Baptist Church to donate blood and vote for their favorite.
So 1 in 7 people who goes to the hospital needs a blood transfusion, and organizers say this is a really fun way to help meet a critical medical need in our community.
Whoever comes out on top, the real winner here today, it's the community and our medical services to have the blood and the resources that they need to help save the lives that desperately need all of these donations.
So this drive also allows the community to learn what police officers and fire departments do.
That blood drive there wraps up at 6. On the move with a new name.
We're taking you to the new home of the Noblesville Boom. Yep, that's ahead here at 5:30. But first at 5, finding a new way to treat migraines.
The new drug-free device, being tested and how it works. Plus, a breakthrough in cancer treatment.
How research at the University of Missouri led to lives saved, and an increase in the number of autism cases.
The search for a cause and why the Health and Human Services Secretary disagrees with a report from an agency he oversees. Next.